Thank you to our talented vocalists and musicians. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this assembly, Mr. Pascual Rodriguez.
Pascual Rodriguez has been working as an educator in the Milwaukee area for over 25 years. 19 of those years were as a principal for one of Milwaukee's top independent charter schools, Bruce Guadalupe Community School. Mr. Rodriguez made families and students feel welcome and empowered them to use their voice.
In 1998, he graduated from Marquette University, and in 2000 from National Louis University with his Master of Science in Educational Leadership. He is married to his wife of 30 years, Caroline, and is a proud father of 4 children. In 2022, Mr. Rodriguez published his personal memoir, Rounding Third and Finally Home, which shares the story of overcoming adversity and how his passion for becoming an educator grew from his childhood experiences. His book emphasizes the circumstances do not dictate your future, rather your choices do.
Mr. Rodriguez is known by many as a leader who strives to create a culture of community. He serves as executive principal at la Casa de Esperanza Charter School in Waukesha.
Bienvenidos, Señora Rodriguez.
Am I hot right now? Am I on? Yes, I believe I am. Thank you. I've been introduced many times. This is the first time I was introduced actually by students. And I was actually teared up. And I'm a Latino, believe me, we tear up real quick. And to have young individuals stand on the stage, sing songs, do their introduction, I was just humbled that I'm given the opportunity on this first occasion of celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month to be your guest speaker, your keynote speaker today. Thank you. Thank you to Ms. Chavez. What they didn't say is I worked along your guidance counselor, Ms. Chavez, for many years at Bruce Guadalupe. Did an amazing job, her and her team. So I'm honored to be here with you. And for the parents that are here, I honor you as well, because without you, schools just can't succeed. So thank you. And let's give a round of applause to our parents here. I asked for the lapel because the Latinos, we know we like to use our hands. That's just the way we are, all right? I was thinking about what am I going to do? What am I going to speak with? Because I've gone many talks, and given the time that I have, I got to move pretty fast. And Latinos, we can talk really fast, so you're going to have to listen really fast. And so I was thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to share with them that they can leave here and take home with them? And then take for the rest of their lives. And the theme that I kept coming up with was, why not me? And you'll understand what I mean by that, by why not me? I'm going to take you back in time, and I'm going to share some history, a little bit excerpt from the book. I'm not going to get into the details. But you'll understand when I get to the point of why I was saying, why not me? Take you back to 1989. I was 21 years old. In Puerto Rico, by the way, Angel, your MC, my name is Angel, middle name Angel. I don't know if it's up there, no. And I'm from Puerto Rico, so we have something in common, Angel. So good job. We have something in common. But nonetheless, here I am in Puerto Rico looking to play baseball. That was my dream, to become a baseball player. I go to my first tryout, and in there the scout decides, there's 2 scouts, he decides to put us through some activities. You got to hit the ball, you got to throw the ball, you got to field the ball. We did all those things, and finally the scout says, okay, I'm going to see how fast you are. So again, this was an invitation only. And so I get there, and there's less than 10 people here. And I happen to be the last one that's going to run these bases. And he says, I'm going to clock you from home to first. I don't care about the 40-yard dash. I'm going to see how you do from home to first. That's realistic. So he takes the first guy goes up there, hits the ball, runs the first, clock, boom, looks at his time, writes it down. Thank you, next guy. He goes on. I happen to be the last one. I go up, and I say, okay, it's my turn. Swing, boom, hit the ball, take off from the right side. There we go. Looks at his clock. Looks at me, look at his clock again, looks at me again and says, young man, I need you to do it again. He didn't ask anyone else to repeat it. He asked me to do it again. I'm thinking, okay, he must have messed up his clock or something happened. So here I go, take a deep breath, let me go at it one more time. Hit the ball, take off, hit first base, clocks again. He looks at his clock one more time, smiles, looks at the other scout and says, come here. Vic Power was his name, played Major League Baseball in the 70s. I need you, do you have your stopwatch? Yes, I do. I need you to clock him with me. I want to see if I'm recording the right time or something wrong with my stopwatch. I'm not thinking anything of it. Goes, young man, take a deep breath. I take a deep breath. He goes, do it again. So I go up there, boom, do it again, run, base, clock. What did you get? Both share each other's time. He goes, young man, come here. Now, he didn't call anybody else. This one, he decides to call me, little Pascual Rodriguez. And I walk up to him, I say, yes, sir. He goes, do you know who Bo Jackson is? Now, raise a hand in here. How many of you know Bo Jackson? Oh, quite a few. Very good. Now, if you don't know who Bo Jackson is, Bo Jackson was an amazing athlete back in the 80s. He's, I think, the first player who played for the Oakland Raiders, NFL, and the Kansas City Royals baseball team. And sometimes they overlap season. This man was an incredible athlete. And he goes, do you know who he is? I said, well, who doesn't? He goes, well, Bo Jackson just runs. He has the fastest time in Major League from the right side. He's a right-handed batter to first base. He does it in 3.6 seconds. Now, the average time for a right-handed batter in Major League Baseball at that time was 4.1 seconds. He's faster than lefties, whose average time is 3.9 seconds. He did it in 3.6 seconds. Do you know, young man, how many times you did it? I said, no, what is it? He goes, you did it 3.7 seconds. You're 1/10 slower than Bo Jackson. I said, is that a bad thing? He goes, no, actually, it's a very good thing. And guess what? 2 hours later, there I was. And when I'm signing this contract, I can tell you that I still didn't believe it. I still couldn't believe that I was going to sign a major league contract or a minor league contract at that point. So I'm signing, but yet it's not real to me. It's not real to me because throughout my life, I've gone through a lot of rejection. Rejection from my father, rejection from my mother. My dad left at the age of 10, never came back. My mother turned to alcohol. I say this to you all high schoolers, and I had to endure the pain and sufferings of what it was to be a young boy raised in an alcoholic family. So I couldn't believe it because a lot of rejection in my life. So here it was, signing a contract. Okay, yes, but no, because I'm already accustomed to rejection. So I had to wait and wait because this happened in October of 1989. The season's almost over. Spring training doesn't begin until February, March. So I had all that time to wait. And finally came across, I get my plane ticket, I fly to Mesa, Arizona, I land, get to my hotel. The next day I get into a bus full of other players that I don't know from around the country. We go into the training camp and I see it. I'm driving through, it's becoming a little bit more real. As I walk and I see, I'm gonna drive in and I see California Angels training camp. It's becoming real, folks. Oh boy. Start to pinch myself, is this really happening? But still, didn't believe. And then I got to the point where we went in, I saw my locker room, it said, Pascual Rodriguez, my uniform is in there. Now, I was always a George Brett fan. George Brett was my favorite player, played for the Casa Royals. Those of you who are my age probably know who I'm talking about. He wore number 5, that was my favorite number. Guess what number is on my locker? You got it, number 5. Oh boy, it's starting to get real. This is real. I put on my uniform, and even with my uniform on, I still have doubt. I still have doubt. Until I go and I walk into the bathroom, and I sit there and I look at myself in the mirror. And I have my hat on, and I got my uniform on, and I just started to cry. Because I knew then, this is real. That's me on the other side of that mirror. And I started to reflect back at my childhood. Started to reflect back at when I was at the age of 4. My dad took me to the first Brewer game. It was County Stadium, not Miller Park. No roof, cold, but we went to this first, and I walked into this field, or in bleachers, right field, and excited. Oh my God, love at first sight. I went home and I grabbed what I could find as a stick. We didn't have a bat, so I grabbed a stick. I didn't have a ball, so I took aluminum foil, wrapped it up into like a baseball, and went outside and started pretending I was hitting home runs. And that was the beginning of my love affair with baseball. But yet, circumstances at home wouldn't allow me to play t-ball. Circumstances at home wouldn't allow me to play Little League. Circumstances at home wouldn't allow me to play any kind of sports at all. Little League, whatever. Never played in a team, but yet I still dreamed. One day I was going to become a Major League Baseball player. And then I got to high school. Freshman year, spring, baseball season, tryouts. I'm there, here I go. Maybe this is the first time I get to wear a uniform. I go on and I go into the tryouts. A week after the tryout, the coach comes up to me and goes, young man, I think I'm going to put you on varsity. Varsity? I've never played baseball ever. All I know is what my eye has seen on TV. And I'm going to be put on varsity? Oh, okay. Exciting, running home to tell somebody. No one there to tell. So that excitement I had to bottle in. Then the next day I go to school, and I can't wait till baseball practice starts because I'm going to be going to the varsity team. And I go there, and the coach calls me up and says, Pascual, come here. And I go, oh, boy, he's going to tell me what position I'm going to play. He goes, young man, in school there's a requirement to play baseball, and that's a GPA of 2.0. Yours is a 0.5. You see, I went to school every day. Math, science, social studies was not on my mind. It was survival. Am I going to go home? Is my mother going to be alive? And no one in the school, and I know here is different. No one in the school ever asked me, what's going on? It was always, what's wrong with you, boy? I was not into drugs. I was not into gangs. I wasn't a violent child. I was just a disconnected child because of the realities that happened at home. And therefore, my grades suffered. Rejected again. So when I go back to the mirror and I sit there and I reflect, all these things coming to me, and I got emotional because it came back and said, why not me? Why not me? Regardless of all the circumstances that happened to me, why not me? So I remember at the age of 19, and I got 9 minutes left, so I'm going to go real fast. The age of 19, I have yet to play baseball. I went to a baseball game with whom they mentioned my wife, Caroline, of 32 years, not 30 years, 32 to be exact. Went, that's okay, you can applaud. Got my first grandchild coming in December, you can applaud for that too, right? So, and I remember going and taking to a baseball game. I always sat in the bleachers because we didn't have a lot of money, we couldn't afford, and someone gave me tickets behind third base. So I took my girlfriend. I was trying to be real cool and impress my girlfriend, right? I'm taking you behind third base. And I remember sitting there, and I'm looking at the field, and my wife is sitting, my girlfriend is sitting over to my right, and I turned my face to the left because I got emotional because of the thought of I saw all these players where I wanted to be. That was my dream. That's what I wanted to do, and it was fading away. It was fading away. And then guess what happens? They hit a foul ball, and guess where that foul ball goes? Straight above my head. And where does it come? I catch it with my right hand. And at that moment, something triggered inside me, and I said, why not me? And for the next 2 years, I went on a complete campaign to ensure that I give myself an opportunity to prove all the naysayers wrong, to say, you know what, as was stated, circumstances are not going to dictate what I do, it's going to be the choices. So I went on and I started to work out 8 days a week. Yes, from sun up, sundown. My girlfriend said, you are crazy. And then, yes, I worked, and then after work, before work, all I did was play baseball or try to play strikeout until I found a league that I was in. I was able to get into a league. And then that's when I flew to Puerto Rico, and that's where I got signed. And then I looked in the mirror, and I got emotional. Yes, there it was. I'm there. My uniform. Now, this isn't the actual uniform, but yet, it's the one that's in the book. I'm a professional baseball player. I beat the odds. So I'm out there trying, and then I'm working out. I would work out. We would get up at, 4 o'clock in the morning. You had to be there at the park by 5:30, get ready to rock and roll. And then I would go practice, do things, and then go at evening and go work out. And I remember one day after workout, I was doing squats, and I felt a pinch on my right leg. And I ignored it. I went into the pool, as I usually do, and started running laps. The next day I woke up, my leg was this swollen. Bo Jackson ran it in 3.6 seconds. I was running it in 3.7 seconds. When my knee was swollen, I couldn't even do it in 10 minutes. I couldn't run. And for an entire month, I sat on the bench until one day I get called into the coach's room. And he says, young man, you're an amazing athlete. But unfortunately, I got to let you go. Released from the California Angels. And when he said that, you would think I would have started crying of sorrow. As a matter of fact, he looked at me like I was crazy because I was smiling at him. And he's wondering, why are you smiling? And it hit me. I can say this in the Lutheran church, in the Lutheran school. When I was in front of that mirror, my friends, it wasn't me reflecting. It was Jesus Christ speaking to me and saying, I love your theme of community. Because Jesus said the community you belong to is not of baseball players. The community you belong to is to help individuals that have suffered and are suffering the same circumstances that you have as a young child. And I need you there to tell them there is hope. There is hope. There is hope. And that's what I did. And I smiled back because I knew what my why was. I had to give up the riches of $1 million, but we know money doesn't buy you happiness. But I can tell you right now, 22 years or 25 years, whatever you want to call it, as an administrator, talking to students and encouraging them and telling them, yes, I've been there. You don't have a father? Yes, I didn't have a father. Your mother's what? Yes, I know what that's like. And they look at you like, you do? I said, yes, I do. And how did you do it? Because I made a choice to not allow the circumstances in my life to dictate what I was going to do. And Jesus gave me the opportunity to play and say, you work that hard, I'm going to give it to you. But that's not the community you belong in. You belong in the community of educators, helping those in your community that need that word, that need that support, that mentorship to get them from this point in their lives and understanding that there is hope. Let me tell you, there's nothing. If anything you're going to remember, a few things I want you to remember from this speech is the sense of belonging is powerful. When you tell a child you belong here, they will move mountains for you. When you tell them, I know you're going to succeed, I don't use the word believe as often as I use the word know. Because how many of you believe the sun is going to rise the next day, or do you know it's going to rise? So I tell a kid, I know you're going to succeed. And I can't tell you how many times I've been honored and privileged to have kids come to me years later, and I call them kids, but they're adults now, and say, Mr. Rodriguez, I never had the opportunity to say thank you, but I am who I am today because of your words. You never stopped caring about me. You always believed in me, and you always used to tell me, I know you're going to succeed. And when we plant that seed of that seed of knowing into a child, they will come through. So I was blessed for 22 years, hit many home runs, just not on the baseball diamond. And I always share this with you, and I say this, I lead with emotional intelligence. That's how I live my life. Wake up every morning and look in the mirror and say, why not me? And whatever it is that you want to do, you have the ability to dictate your own future by your actions and by the choices you make. Every single day you wake up, why not me? And I guarantee you, just like me standing in front of the mirror where I thought I was reflecting, but in fact it wasn't, it was Jesus talking to me. And I accepted that calling to do what I do today. And emotional intelligence is how I lead. I lead and follow my heart every single day. But let's not be mistaken. I heard this some time ago, and it made me laugh, but I think it's so true. We follow our hearts, but we bring our brain with us, right? We don't leave our brains behind. You don't go on top of a mountain and say, oh, Lord, I have faith in you. You're my God. You're my Savior. I have faith in you. I'm going to jump off, and I know I'm going to survive. Because I guarantee you, you jump off. Jesus is going to be with you when you jump off, but when you land, you're going to be with Jesus, right? And we want to make sure that Jesus tells us think, because he invented what's called a parachute. So if you're going to jump off, make sure you're equipped. In other words, that parachute represents your cognitive thinking, the things that you do, that you understand, that you know what to do, that you have a pathway, that you know what your pathway is. Do me a favor right now. Look to your right. Look to your left. And if you're on screen in your classrooms, do the same thing. Look at the person behind you. Look at the person in front of you. Let me tell you something, and my educators here, my parents will probably share the same thing. The likelihood of you knowing those people around you in 10 years are probably slim to none. But yet, we allow some of those individuals to dictate what we do. So, I'm going to say this. Be selfish. Be selfish with your education. Do not let anyone rob you of your education. If anything, I know they use selfish as the wrong word. In this one, Be selfish with your education. So in the future, you can be selfless for others. Now I have 1 minute left, and I'm going to give that minute back pretty soon because I'm going to end it with this. When you wake up in the morning, every day, and you look in that mirror, and you say, why not me? I also want you to do this when you walk out your door. I want you to say to yourself, love to live. Can you repeat that with me? 1, 2, 3. Love to live. Let's try that again. Love to live. So you can then go and live to love. That's what Jesus asks us to do, and wake up every day. And I love my life, and I share that life with everyone because I care about you deeply. My community of educators, I couldn't ask for a better life. I don't care what you say about money in the major leagues. Money doesn't buy you happiness, but your success does. May God bless you. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the facilities.
Gracias, Señor Rodriguez, for an inspirational message. We'd like to give you a swag bag so you can always remember us as an extended part of your community. Students and faculty, if you like to read his book, we have many copies available for you to check out in the student services in the library. I highly recommend it.